Hey everyone, I am at Noma! Yay! Look, it's right here! I finally made it! Okay, I'm so excited. There's the entrance. I will be going in a bit, but yes, I finally made it to Noma. This is the restaurant in Copenhagen in Denmark, and very excited to try it. 3 Michelin star coming through the vegetable season in 2024. So excited. All right, jump right in. See you in there. So this is the green room. When you first enter Noma, you can show up a little bit early, and when you're waiting to actually be seated, they bring you into this greenhouse. This is kind of where they grow some of their vegetables, but it's also just kind of like a nice seating area, kind of like where you're just waiting for the actual meal to start. I arrived pretty early, about 30 minutes before my meal, so I actually got there before a lot of the other guests did. So I'm going to be sitting at a share table, but which means that I'm going to be sitting with 4 strangers. But then the other guests are at either you can sit in 2, 4, 8. There's actually a large group that's going to be coming in. So in the room, it's a very, very nice atmosphere. They have a ton of different vegetables that are growing, leaves, plants. It's a very fun environment. You just saw some of the things that they produce as part of Noma projects, which is they kind of bottle up some of their main concoctions that they make in the restaurant and you can ship them. But yeah, this is just me looking around, very amazed. You can actually see some of the chefs in some of the gardens, or in the gardens, kind of picking out some of the food that we're going to be eating that night. So the first thing that we actually get when we're waiting is just a simple sparkling water. I just believe a sparkling tea. It comes in a very beautiful glass, but this is just something to kind of refresh yourself while you're waiting in the room. You can see some of the other guests actually talking to some of the chefs as they pick up, just kind of explaining what type of vegetables that they're picking up from the garden that we're going to be eating. Now, this is really cool. I actually saw some tomatoes that were growing in the garden. Obviously, these are not ripe, but it was just some cool ones. And then there's a really large, I wasn't actually sure exactly what that was. Maybe if you guys know, let me know in the comments. But just another vegetable. I think it might be a pepper. But these were some cool spices. That might be, I think those are jalapenos in the corner, in the right. But I just thought these were really cool, just seeing that, hey, this is food that we might eat. So they called me into the table, and these are kind of the 3 guests that I was going to be sitting with, and we are being walking through the garden to actually towards the entrance of the restaurant. Now you can see that this is their entire garden where they grow their flowers and vegetables we'll be eating, but they have 3 sets of greenhouses. The one on the right, the first one is just a seating area, but the other 2 they actually use to mainly grow their food, but also kind of do some experiments. But it's just a very pleasant environment that you can like walk through while going towards the entrance. This is the main gate or the main entrance of the restaurant. It's actually closed when you arrive, and you can kind of see the entire path that I walk down. But that's kind of like a wooden door. It's a very nice aesthetic, and yeah, the first guest, I just decided to walk in, and there's a bunch of people just waiting for us, ready to wait on everything that we might need. When you actually sit down, they have a mushroom log that's just sitting on the table, and these are actually the mushrooms that we're going to be eating later in the night, which is really cool. And this is some pulp, or tree sap from peach trees that we're going to be using. And then lastly, those are pine cones, which we will also be eating, which is very surprising. So this is kind of just the plate. This is the table that we're sitting at. It's a very, very pleasant environment. It looks very pretty. And we're sitting at a high table with the 4 of us. And yeah. So this is the restaurant. Obviously it's empty because I think we're the first people to be seated in this area of the restaurant. There's 3 main seating areas, but you can see how beautiful it is. I've never really seen restaurants with this kind of homey but modern aesthetic, kind of minimalistic, very, very pleasant environment. You can see kind of how our tables are laid out, whatever glasses look like. Just, it seems like this almost was out of like a beautiful movie or some sort of modern aesthetic. It was just really, really pretty. So the first thing that we're going to be drinking actually is a licorice root and elderflower tea. This one is very subtle, not too overwhelming, nice way to begin the meal. The first dish is actually a kalabri kebab, which is practically mushrooms. Part of it's in, and then the liquid that you see is a tree sap, which is like kind of the peach tree sap. Very, very good dish, kind of think of like a mushroom steak. Next comes up were some Yucatan oregano sandwiches, practically just leaves with some pesto in the middle. Very good, beautiful, beautiful presentation, just a fun, and also they smelled really fresh, and you can actually smell it. Now the next one was pine cone olives with fermented beans, kind of like a nice burst of flavor when you kind of bite into it. Very unexpected, but very, very good. Now this is kind of just the whole meal as a whole, and the actual red cutlery that you see there is very beautiful. That was actually one of my favorite, and I actually asked them to let me know where they got that from, and it's red cutlery in a red small plate from Roberto Yusa. But yeah, it's a very beautiful dish, and very enjoyed eating this one. It was a great start to the meal. You can kind of see what everyone else's dishes look like. And yeah, I came during the vegetable season, so it was just a terrific thing. You can actually see the little pine cone olives. I never really expected to eat these when I saw them originally, but it was nice. And again, that is me just picking up one of the leaf sandwiches, and it tasted great. It smelled great as well. You can kind of, I'm trying to show you what the pesto is. The leaves are actually very furry is like the best way to describe it. You can kind of like see the fur that's on it. It was very good, and it was just a nice quick bite. So next comes up is a sorrel noodle soup. Now this one was really cool. They actually served it in an ice dish. But the actual dish itself, like the liquid that you see there, is sorrel. It's like a leaf, kind of think of it from the spinach family. So that one is very good, and kind of like a nice gazpacho is the best way to kind of describe it. And what you actually see in the hearts that are beautifully made are practically kombucha jelly, and the white circle that you see is cheese. And when you just take a whole bite of everything together, it just kind of melted very, very well in your mouth. And honestly, the presentation was just really amazing. Like being served in an ice bowl, so that way your dish is always kind of like cold. And you can kind of see me trying to pick up, and I didn't really expect the jelly to hold together as well as it did. And also, I want to remind everyone that I told them I was vegan, so this does not contain any animal ingredients or anything. So it was just, I didn't really expect the jelly to hold, but it did, and it was very, very good. Next comes up is essentia and herbs juice. You can kind of think of this one just like a refreshing cucumber juice was the best way to kind of describe this one. I don't think I was actually a huge fan of it, but it kind of paired well with an early beginning of the meal, kind of just a refreshing start. So I did enjoy that one, sort of. You can kind of see me trying it out there. Yeah, it was an okay one. Alright, next up was a seaweed salad. This one pretty self-explanatory. They kind of took seaweed, wrapped up some flowers inside and some kelp. I gotta say, this food dish, as it states, is a salad. It looks pretty, and they did include some sauce in the middle. I did have to say, though, that the seaweed itself took a little bit to actually chew. I think seaweed I always imagined in my head, and the ones I had before, kind of crunchy, or it's just easier to swallow and chew. This one just took a little bit longer. I kind of wish they might have done something to the seaweed to actually make it a little bit more chewable, so you didn't have to spend as much time. It was kind of hard to bite a little bit. But again, the presentation was very pretty. It kind of honestly seemed like I was given like 4 bouquets of seaweed with some beautiful flowers. So it was just like a fun presentation for this dish. Now, next up was Koji wrapped in ramsum. And the 3 things that you see on the top, on the right is a radish, in the middle is a flower, or like a tiny little flower, and on the right is another sandwich. Kind of similar to the leaf sandwiches that we had as part of our first course. Now, this dish was really good. I feel like, so koji is kind of like a fermented rice, and they put that inside what you see, like that wrap. And usually, when I went to Japan previously, I've had a lot of rice with koji, and I've had radish, but this dish was kind of like just the perfect amount. It wasn't too overwhelming, because the thing that you see on the bottom that the koji is wrapped in can usually kind of get overwhelming and a bit flavor, but everything is perfectly balanced, and there's kind of a theme throughout the night. All the flavors are perfectly balanced. So when you're eating this one, they advised for you to take a bite of like the koji with the wrapped in the ramsum with the radish and all the other flavors, and it actually goes very, very well together. I did really thoroughly enjoy this dish. And I think the part about this dish that was really pretty was actually this flower that you see that was fried. It's just so pretty. I don't understand how someone's able to kind of like fry a flower like that. It just kind of blows my mind that the restaurant was somehow able to fry the flower but still maintain the actual structure of it. Very beautiful, very amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. And then this is just the beautiful sandwich. This one kind of reminded me of the first couple sandwiches we ate, just in a different leaf. Now, next comes up is today's crudité, but the best way to describe this one is just kind of like a fruit and vegetable salad. Again, one of the most prettiest dishes I've ever ate. Some of the dishes in here include strawberries, carrots, zucchini, squash, and all of these are from the garden that we walked through together in the beginning. It was amazing. And underneath, all of it was actually a fennel liquid to kind of just hold it all together. This dish, first off, looks amazing. So beautiful. I don't understand how someone took the time and effort to just make a dish this well, and it honestly did not even want me to eat it. It was hard to like take a fork and actually bite into it. Oh, and also this is sumac and a rose juice. So sumac is just kind of like it's a spice that comes out of Asia primarily, but like also It's just a spice that you kind of have to taste. It's not really has an equivalent, but this dish or this drink was very good. It did have some carbonation in it, and you can kind of see in the actual dish itself. You can see the flowers are from right outside the door. It was just really cool. Now I want to mention that this one flower right here, everyone on my table is obsessed with it, and so is I. And if you know what flower this is or this leaf this is, please let me know in the comments. It's so incredibly beautiful. It's like it's shining purple with glitter, and no, they didn't add glitter to it. It was just naturally that beautiful, beautiful color. So amazing dish, great thing. So the next dish is actually a quail egg wrapped in sea lettuce served on top of this beautiful flower. So I did tell them ahead of time that I don't eat egg, so instead they gave me barbecued barley is inside this sea lettuce dumpling. And the way you actually eat it is you kind of just pick it up, and there's like a little bit of like substance that's kind of just holding it to that surface, but they do serve it on top of this beautiful, beautiful flower. It was just so amazing when they actually like display it and they put it down in front of you. You're like, wait, what do I eat? Like, how do I eat the bottom? Do I eat the leaf? Is the whole thing edible? Is the soiled chocolate? Like, you're really confused when you first see it, but it's just so beautiful. So yeah, you kind of just pick it up, you see the beautiful flowers on top, and you can kind of see me being like, all right, time to go ahead and pop it in my mouth and try it. You can see me just taking a bite, and I just popped it all in one. It's actually a really good one. The quail, or sorry, not the quail egg, but the barbecued barley was really good. Though I do have to say, another person staying at my table did not enjoy the quail egg texture, but yes, I did enjoy my barbecue barley, just a nice crunch inside the dumpling. You can kind of see everyone else's dishes. They're just extremely beautiful. Honestly, every single dish here was like a work of art. So, so beautiful. So this is just someone who's sitting next to me, just taking a bite out of the their quail egg wrapped in sea lettuce. So yeah. Next up is new potato soup and a butterfly waffle. So this dish, when they brought it up, we were like, what are we supposed to do? So the dish that you see on the left is actually a potato soup, and what they did is they actually put a little hole in the potato, and they put a straw, and inside the potato is actually potato soup, and the way you eat it is you literally suck the soup out through the straw of the potato, and the soup itself is actually still really warm. And the dish on the right is just a butterfly waffle. You can kind of think of this one like kind of like a savory sandwich, like a savory sandwich cracker is the best way to describe it. But you just have to look at this dish. It's so incredibly beautiful. Like, you don't even want to touch it or break it. You kind of just want to look at it forever. It's kind of hard to process or understand how a chef or how a couple of chefs will go about trying to create a dish that's just so beautiful. And the way you eat it is you literally pick up the butterfly, put it in half, and then eat it. And you're just like, really, you really don't want to do it, but you have to eat it because it tastes amazing. So you can kind of see me, that's how you're supposed to drink the potato soup. This was great, typical potato soup, but just amazed by the flavors and everything. And this is the butterfly waffle that you see. You can kind of see me just picking it up and trying to like make it fly a little bit. I just thought it was kind of fun. But yeah, you go ahead and close it. And then, yeah, just take a bite out of it. Very, very fragile, I will say. I was trying really hard not to break it, but it's just amazing. So next up is a Magnolia tea. This one was just a nice sweet tea. They kind of gave it in the same glass that I got earlier that you saw when we were in the waiting room. Just a nice, refreshing kind of like cleanser between dishes. Just really, really fun cleanser to prepare us for the next dish, which is a jellied mushroom. Now, what you'll see here at the bottom is just a mushroom, also wonderful plate and cutlery. And what they actually did is they hand cut all the mushroom. That's like a single mushroom on the bottom. But the thickness of the mushroom was on par with, like, you think glass noodles that are currently in pad thai that you may be more familiar with. They hand cut a mushroom that thin. I don't understand how someone does that, because mushrooms are really, really fragile. Even oyster mushrooms, like being able to do that and cook and poach the mushroom while still being able to maintain the structure of the mushroom, amazing. On top is kind of like a savory broth, and then on the right, the white thing that you see right there is a creme fraiche. It just overall was a really beautiful dish, and yeah. Next up, I decided to go to the bathroom. This is just kind of like the restaurant. These are like the four doors that they have, and just the rest of the restroom, or the rest of the restaurant. And yeah, you can kind of just see me. You'll see me waving in a second. Hi. They have the towels, the beautiful, yeah, just the toilet. Just wanted to show you what the toilet looked like. Why not? Anyways, moving on. Next up is frozen cheese and blackened yuzu. So this is just a chef. He just came over to kind of talk about what we're eating. We thought it was truffle when he actually came out first, but no, that's blackened yuzu. And the next dish is gonna blow your mind. So it's actually just frozen cheese and blackened yuzu. And that right there is actually the texture and everything. Think of it like snow. It was honestly like powdered snow that you're eating, and they kind of just shaved some of the yuzu on top. And to quote actually one of the other members sitting at the table, she said it tasted like snow parmesan, and that's exactly what it tasted like. So thank you for that description. Oops. And it was just a really, really good dish. It just kind of melted in your mouth. The moment it touched your tongue, it just like melted. It's you know when you're a kid and you put your tongue out when it's snowing, and the moment the snowflake hits your tongue, it just melts. It was like that, but imagine it had parmesan. It was amazing. All right, next up comes my favorite drink of the night: honey, saffron, and sea buckthorn. And then these, just real quick, are grilled peas in the pod. You just shuck them and drink it, or just put the peas in your mouth. I gotta say, this one might be just kind of like a nice small dish. Nothing really amazing. It tastes exactly what you think it's going to taste like. Just peas that have been grilled, that have some savory liquid on them. And then, a great dish, don't get me wrong, but also nothing to write home about. But, okay, more about that drink. It was honey, saffron, and sea buckthorn, and it tasted like, okay, Fanta, but it looks like orange. There's no orange juice in that, and there's no orange flavor in that, or Fanta or anything. But it tasted exactly like Fanta did, but a little bit sweeter because of the honey. So amazing. I think I might myself have drank like half a bottle, like, and they have the wine bottles of these, but obviously this is not wine, this is just juice. But I think I must have myself drinking like 4 or 5 cups of this, and I kept on drinking it, and I kept on refilling it, and it was wonderful. Very, very good. Again, yeah, this is just the peas in the pod. No, there's nothing wrong about that, but I just thought they could have done a little bit more with this one. But yeah, it was good. So next up was artichoke hearts and a padron pepper. You can kind of think of this one, and in jasmine tea foam. You can kind of think of this one that they just like barbecued some peppers and the beautiful jasmine tea foam. It just worked well together. It was just kind of a nice break between some of the more like kind of heavier dishes with the potato soup and the mushrooms, but this one just a nice refreshing. And again, these are all from their farm, that the garden that they have, along with the flowers. So this dish, very good, very refreshing, and a good dish. So one thing I do want to mention about these, all the flowers that you see right there, I actually, when they pick them up from around the restaurant, whether it be right outside or around maybe 10 minutes away, it's just so beautiful. When you think of a restaurant like Noma, and when you think of these dishes, you don't really think of them looking very pretty, but they look amazing. So next comes up was a tea. This one was just a tea that they claimed had like 15 different flavors in it. Gotta be honest, I don't think I was actually a huge fan of this one. I did not drink more than 2 or 3 bites of it. Maybe they could have removed a couple of the 15 flavors, but no, I mean, I think there was just a little bit going on in that one, so I wasn't a huge fan. Next up comes a salt baked black oyster mushroom, and inside was rice, the Japanese rice. You can kind of think of this rice as being kind of sticky, heavy rice, but this dish was, these were actually the same mushroom that you saw earlier on. They had the mushroom log on our table. This dish was a perfect final, this was like the main meal, and this was like the final dish for the night. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. The mushrooms were cooked perfectly, and the rice was just amazing. So I really did enjoy that one. Next up was a tomato salad. This is kind of like a side dish. These are really good. What they did with the tomatoes, grape tomatoes, is they actually removed the outside skin, and then they just cooked them. But then you see the 2 little things on the side, the flowers with the little like disc. Those were actually dumplings. And what they did is they like had a base for the dumpling, filled it with some vegetables or some stock. But the way they actually covered the dumpling, you know how normally it's like flour or something? Instead, what they actually did is they used a flour and then fried the whole thing. And I think I asked one of the waiters, and they're like, yeah, it takes about 6 hours of work to put that together for 2 bites. Like, I mean, I got 2, each one is 1 bite. This one little bite was so good. Like it's better than the whole other dishes that we got that night. It was just amazing. And for them to not even highlight it as a main part of the dish, but just as a side dish in the tomato salad, amazing. I just like it is not words to describe how good that was. Yeah, you can see I finished the entire thing. Amazing dish, so good. Wish I had more of those little tiny dumplings. Next comes up was just another tea. This was blueberry, pine, and bergamot. This one was good. It was just another drink, though I think I might have been drinked out by this point because of how much I must have drank that honey, saffron, and sea buckthorn. I'm telling you, if you go there, please ask them to see if they have it. Highly, highly recommend that one. It was truly amazing. Though I do gotta say, for this one, the color of the drink was just amazing. Oh my god. Okay, so now this dish. This dish was a Magnolia popsicle. So Magnolia is a type of plant. And I wanted you to guess, what do you think where's the popsicle? That's the white thing. That's the white rose you see on the plant. It's stunning. I don't understand how they came across making a dish so beautiful. Like how that's ice cream that's wrapped in Magnolia, like a mochi type thing. And the way you eat it, you kind of just pick it up and you just eat it. It's like a popsicle, but made from ice cream. I was blown away by the presentation of this dish. It was just so beautiful. It tasted also amazing. It was some of the best ice cream I've ever had. And it's just so beautiful. Like you can just see everyone at the table is just mesmerized by eating it. It was truly a wonderful work of art and a dish. And you will see me attempting to eat it right here. So, I did a couple attempts at trying to eat it. Like, so wrapped around the ice cream is actually this like layer of mochi. And the way you actually get to the ice cream, you kind of have to like bite it. And you'll see on my next attempt to bite it, I'll actually take some of it off. And I thought it was going to fall, the ice cream was going to just fall right off, but it doesn't actually. But highly recommend this dish. It was amazing. One of the best dishes of the night. Next up was berries with milk skin and grilled hip rose ice cream inside the milk skin. So around the dish you have blueberries, golden raspberries, plums, everything from the garden, and it all changes day on day. But in the middle was actually grilled rose ice cream, hip rose ice cream, but what it's wrapped in is milk skin. And the way you make milk skin is kind of boil like whole milk, and then you put a little bit of vinegar in it, and then all the fat comes to the top. And then when you let it cook off, you get milk skin. In India or in other places of the world called like malai. And they took the malai, which is very delicate, so I really want to know how they did it. And they put the ice cream in the middle and they wrapped it. And I'm a huge fan of ice cream. This dish was amazing. I know I've said that for almost all the dishes, but this one truly was. I think the delicateness and the structure of how they actually made this dish, it was really remarkable to see how they were able to do that. So next comes up was the next dish. I just want to point out really quick, the cutlery that we got for the next dish was actually made from cow horns. Really, really cool. And also, okay, so the rest of the people in the restaurant started to get seated. You can kind of see how it kind of got a lot darker. I think by now it was almost hour 3. So they offered either tea or coffee. The 2 people across from us got some tea. I had a couple of tea of the night, so I offered for the coffee. That's their black coffee. And you might think, no, you might have put some cream or milk in it. You didn't. That's just the natural color of the black coffee. So it was really interesting to see that. Definitely enjoyed the coffee. It was almost 9 or 10 p.m. by this point, so it did end up making me stay up a bit, but highly recommend the coffee if you do go there. Next comes up is woodruff and flowers. So you might be asking, what is this dome in front of you? What this dome actually is the beeswax dome, and you don't actually eat this. And on top, what you'll see are there's little seeds in there. When you lift it up, ooh, there's a little custard. And what happens is, what you do is, I was trying to figure out how do you get the seeds out. The seeds are in the thing that I'm holding. So what you actually do is you turn it upside down, and then the seeds will start to fall out of that little container onto your little custard dish. And it's just another way for you to kind of like flavor your dish. This was just a beautiful little cute dish to end the night. And it was honestly a very, very good dish. The custard, perfect. It did not have eggs in it because I told them it didn't have eggs in it, so it was fun because normally custard does have egg in it. So overall, great dish, great way to kind of finish up the night, finish all the desserts. So this was actually the last dish of the night. After this, there are no more dishes, but there is more, as some people like to say. There is more to what the restaurant did have and more things I just want to tell you about. So just in general, I did ask, just if you guys are curious, the entire dish did cost about $1,000 in terms of the food. That's everyone at the table. Everyone was super nice. I met all of them, exchanged numbers and stuff. It was great. Everyone at the table was super, super nice. Yeah, so the entire dish cost about $1,000 of the food and the drink pairing. Highly recommended if you guys do get a chance. They are closing next year though, so if you do want to go, or this year, please try to get a reservation in the next season. This is just everyone at the table, so I asked them to give us a restaurant tour, which they very graciously did offer. So what you see right here is the finishing thing. After they finish cooking, they bring it out here where all the chefs kind of make it look pretty. You saw all the beautiful dishes that came out, and this is where they prepare it. Now, at the far end of the restaurant, you see the one seating room, and towards the left, you will see a second seating room. So they have 3 main seating rooms where they seat everyone. You can kind of just see all the really, really hardworking chefs doing everything they can to make every night as best as it can. So now, this is other parts of the restaurant. This is actually built into an ancient war bunker, is what I believe she told me. And so on the left right there was kind of where they were cleaning some of the dishes. But here, right here, what you see on the left is their kitchen. Everyone there was super nice. They were all saying thank you, which is so nice of them to do as we walk through. And it's very nice that they offered to show us this behind. But this is kind of where they prepare some of the dishes. And now you can kind of see some of the flowers, some of the other stuff. And right here is a wall. And what this wall has is any famous chefs that come by, anyone that's ever worked at Noma,
has the ability to kind of sign it. It's just a little fun mementos to see everyone who's worked there and put their heart and soul into making this restaurant look amazing. And also during the sea season or ocean season, this is where they keep all the lobsters and other fish that they serve. But I went during the vegetable season. So now here are some of the lockers where the people who work there actually keep some of their belongings throughout the day. Very cool being just seeing how they kind of operate in their workspace. And coming up on the left is actually their kitchen where all of they eat. Because, I mean, if you work there for the entire day, you want a place to eat. So this is where they have breakfast and lunch. And as part of this is kind of like how they actually, you know, feed their chef. They rotate as to who cooks every day. But yeah, that's just a way they eat. So this restaurant was really, really good. I had a wonderful time, 10 out of 10. If you guys do ever get a chance to go here, please do. Lastly, one thing about Noma 2.0 is that they're really into fermenting, so they have this massive fermenting lab, and they have 2 massive refrigerators that actually keep all their fermented stuff. So yeah, I truly did love this place. I also got a book that they had with all the recipes and stuff. They did give me that. That was really, really nice. And yeah, so the restaurant does have one more season this year in Kyoto, and then in 2025 they're doing one last ocean season in the beginning of the year. So if you do get a chance, please sign up to go there. These are just kind of the 3 greenhouses that they kind of showed. I truly did have a wonderful time. I want to thank the Noma 2.0 team, everyone, the chefs, the people who helped me throughout the night. It was just a great experience, and being able to have that and be so accommodating for everything. It was a wonderful night. And while I was just waiting for the taxi they called for me, they kind of just let me see the green room or greenhouse one last time just to wait. Really, really beautiful. And I honestly had a wonderful time with everyone and everyone at the table. So thanks to you guys and thanks to everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks. All right, bye. Have a great day.